Hey y'all, what is up YouTube? How's it going everybody? Mark here, and I'm back to do a review and unboxing for a certain watch. Not just a certain watch. What you're looking at here is a page for a look at this certain Rolex. Not just some Rolex. This is going to be the Oyster Perpetual GMT Master. But let's be clear, can't get my hands on that one. No. It's going to be a sequel, but in a moment. As part of the professional watch line collection, design collaboration with Pan Am Airways, use their for the use for pilots and navigators, which was launched sometime in 1954. It's a mystery, but if we take a look here, see Pan Am. If anybody knows Pan Am, not the TV show Pan Am, but the airline Pan Am, which has been around for like many years. And let's see, founded in March 14, 1927, 95 years ago, Pan Am Airways, PAA, if you will, was among one of the flies that can travel anywhere around the world. Unfortunately, ceased operations on December 4, 1991. I was 8 months old at the time. 30 years ago. It'll be 31 pretty soon, but in December. So yeah, I mean, these were indeed very good airwaves. Their logos remain so iconic. Who can forget Pan Am? There were the great airlines of their days. But sadly, 1991, that ended. Oh, there's their logo, Pan Am, P-A-N-A-M. So yeah, it traveled all around, but and then there's a lot of fleetways, aircrafts, a lot of it from their histories from the last many years or so. So yeah. Let's get back to this. So designed, of course, for pilots, and GMT, which means Greenwich Mean Time, also known as CUT, Coordinated Universal Time, and had a complication, 24-hour display, fourth hand complication directly linked to and displaying same time zone, standard 12-hour hands. And by the 80s it got crazier and people started loving it, and by the 2000s the 07 it got well, in the 80s we got the sequel GMT-Master II. Got crazy over the years, and then suddenly 2007 went bye-bye, and then 2007 made a comeback, but for differences. And it was ceramic, everything about the GMT-Master II line. Number one never came back, and it got crazier over the many years until today, y'all. But let's take a look at the original GMT Master line. Alrighty, y'all. So what you're looking at here is a reference 6542, released sometime around summer, maybe the spring or winter of 1954. And it was around the time my grandfather was born. And before that, this would be a nickname for the GMT Master 6542. This would be worn in the wrist of Honor Blackman's character, Pussy Galore. They call this the Pussy Galore because she wore that watch in the film. But let's take a little zoom differences. You guys see this right here? This is the original, and it had these bake-like bezels. It was a big crown, very unique design. And unfortunately, these are now called HTF, hard to find, maybe in their best conditions in the many years. And some are auctioned. Even the one worn by Honor Blackman went for a lot of money, really, because it was worn by the actress. Had these bait-like bezels, if you will. If anybody remembers a famous lawsuit around August 5th of 1961, some dude got filed a lawsuit against Rolex because these bait-legged bezels had radiation, and some members of his family got cancer. He sued Rolex. That was an infamous lawsuit. So check that out. I'll leave you a link in the description box for Houdinki's collection history of the GMT Master line, Rolex GMT Master line, that is. And really, these bait-legged bezels, Rolex had to reissue these bait-legged bezels and check the problems, and only about 605 made it to the back to the US. The others, who knows how many were made. And you got variations, like this is like a gold version. Here's an all gold out version as well. Wow. And some of these, of course, including this one, that PBS auction, some dude who was serving in Germany during World War II in 1960 or 1961, if you will. He bought it in German, in Zweibrücken in Germany. And before he went back to the States, his sergeant told him, buy a Rolex wristwatch. And he did. And he bought two, one for himself and one in a different variation design. And the Pepsi one he liked, and the other one was for his dad that had some gold to the bracelet. And military salary at that time period was $100 a month, and it was a lot of money in 1960. It was. And back then, the Rolexes back then in 1950 to 1980, it cost you in the vicinity of 100 to 1,000. These particular ones was about 100 and 120 for the GMT Master line. So yeah. So, and when you look at this is like a one of a kind design, very uniquely, beautifully designed. So this guy that bought it in Germany, recent auction, since he kept the box, the papers where he purchased, he has the replacement band, he had the original band that came with it, all detailed, somewhere in the vicinity of 65 to 75 grand. Wow. And it's known as his dress watch. So over the many years, they've gotten Pepsi, they got variation design. I couldn't even tell that that's even a Coke. Vintage unique lines as well. Mm-hmm. Look at it very carefully, everybody. All right, let's see the other models. And tell me, what do you guys think of this original design? I don't even know. Rolex never made a comeback. Even we're on the verge of entering 70 years since 1954. And let's take a. I mean, the design looks unique. It's too unique. That's what it is. It's unique in its own way. So let's take a look at the other ones that had come before it, or after it. Sorry, after it. Alrighty, so here's a promo ad, or an ad at that point in 1954 for the watch of the year, which is of course GMT Master. And you can see there specifically for pilots, there's the plane, here's the look of the watch, big crown, good designs, everything, details. Read that very carefully. Anybody, just pause it. And back then, this is the price with the bracelet, 240 bucks. And around this point for Torno, this is a promo for Torno in New York City in 1954 during Christmas. It says, if you read it there, right there, it says store open till 9 p.m. until Christmas. Meaning, judging from this would have been between November and December of 1954, around the time my grandpa was born. And of course, my other grandfather from my father's side, he was like 22. So this is how it was back then with these ads, certified chronometers and all that for aviations. So $240 worth metal band. Must have been a lot of money back then. And of course, 18 karat gold with version with alligator band, 600 bucks, Zoiks. Very Zoiks indeed, federal tax included. And this is how it was in those days. And that's how, yeah. And Again, my grandpa and from my father's side, including my grandpa when he was a baby at the time. I mean, nobody ever seen these watches on account of they're very very unique and designed very wonderfully, really, and it's a collectible sought after I don't know how many years. And here's another one of the Pan Am design, very unique. And here's a close-up one of the with the baked legged bezels. Right here. Yep. And baked leg bezels, if anybody is familiar with these, and of course you see the cracks there, right around here. They're called spider dials. Well, I don't even like to coin it as, but these were big crowns, certified chronometers, every detail about it. Very good color combo. But if anybody is familiar about a lawsuit that occurred in 1961, a man sued Rolex for $5 million because his family got cancer because of these baked like bezels, because they were tritium radiations, which causes cancer. And Rolex demanded recalls of these pieces, the 6542s, to be recalled, and only 605 of them exist. Very sought after. Not very limited, though. So, yeah. So 5 years later, after the release, we got this badass. Say hello to the 1675, the Pepsi. And these are like very all after, because if anybody's familiar with any actors or actresses or loves the designs, Marlon Brando, very good, very awesome actor, is a big fan of Rolex, including the GMT line. Wore this watch in Apocalypse Now, but if anybody's familiar with that movie, the bezel has been removed, and instead of the bracelets, it's on a rubber band of some kind, making this watch unidentifiable. But if you see pictures, behind the scenes, shots of him, it's a GMT Master. Some people mistaken that it was an Explorer, but highly doubt it had crown guards in it, or did it. So yeah, and also Magnum PI wore one, given to him by his father, and also it would be famously worn by other people over the years. And I did mention that the 6245, which would be worn by Honor Blackman's Pussy Galore in the James Bond hit Goldfinger. And that has been gone auction for very hefty price, everybody. No, seriously. Very hefty price. So yeah, in the course of many years to come, to take a look around. And here's a American Rolex ad between 1958 and 59 advertising the 6542. I already did talk about the 1675, and this particular one, if anybody know who this man is in this photo, his name was Ernesto Giovara, aka Giovara. Now, this is a 1675. You could tell on the wrist, right there. He wore this watch. He was a revolutionary guy, big attitude, kicked butt. But apparently he was captured and he was murdered by his captors, and no one would know what happened to his 1675 piece. No one knows whatever happened to that watch, really, but he remains a legend in the world of revolutionaries over the course of many years. And the next one would be an ad from, say, 1963 for an ad. This is German. Hold on a second. Here we go. This is a German ad in 1963, if you could see very closely, of the 1675. I can't even read German. Here's another ad. Pan Am flies with Rolex. And this is an American one from 1963, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, 1963. And here is a 1968 piece. This is the no crown guards version of GMT Master I, reference 1675 Concord edition, but this has no crown guards. Gold, brown gold, or rose brown gold, whichever it is. It's an amazing piece, part of the Concord line. Here's one with the crown guards and Jubilee bracelet, ad from that same year, 1968. And here's this particular one that you saw from the ad, 1675 crown guards with Jubilee bracelet. Amazing, amazing. If you see my pointer pointing right here, that's the no holes case. The no holes case, to be exact. Like, you can just do it yourself. And here's a black and white ad version of the Concord ad. Here is a GMT-Master Grenoble French ad for the Olympics at that time. Here is the 1675 Pepsi with Jubilee, released in the year of 1968, obviously. Here is the what's this ad for? Thor Hydro, no, I can't even say his name right. Just pause that carefully if anybody can read it. An ad from 1973. Yes. Here's from 1973, that same year, for how a Pan Am 74/7 pilot tells the time. Here you go. Here's the root beer, reference 1675 from 1977. Jubilee two-tone Jubilee. And this would be called Clint Eastwood would be wearing this 16 years later in the 1993 film In the Line of Fire. He wore this particular timepiece, and it's still in his collection. That never sold. And here's a Tom Shepard across the Sahara ad for the GMT Master in 1975. This was, of course, talking about 1975, but it's a 1978 ad, to be exact. And here is the 1675 Radical Blueberry. All right, now this is a design that should be made, that should have been on the Submariner, not the whole Smurf. I mean, I like Smurf, but it was too much blue. This is what Rolex should bring back, as well as in GMT-Master II. But they did that in 2020, but now that's sought after now. But look at it. Radical Blueberry. Amazing. Amazing. Nothing to lie about this. No lie there. And that was in the summer of 78. 79, we had the 1675 Black Dial, aka the Espresso. Very, very good timepiece. And again, this is the no holes case. And here's a, how you put the word, a Pan Am ad. I think it looked like a postcard. And that is a black dial, black bezel, GMT Master Jubilee. Here's another ad in 1980. Let me see, what year was this? Yep, 1980. Yep. And here's the espresso version with the Jubilee bracelet. The espresso, and here's the here's the Julian Knotts, N-O-T-T, hot air balloon with the Oyster Perpetual. As you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, sorry. All right, if I can zoom in here. Oh, zoom in there. Huh? There's the hot air balloon near the moon. Okay, Mount Everest is about 29,000 feet. Now the hot air balloon's at 36,000 feet, right above a jumbo jet, which beat the record at 40,000 feet. That took place in 1972. 1974, 2 years later, would be at 45,836 feet. 1979, about 5 years later, for the Chauncey Dunn record for 52,000 feet, and Julian Knotts did the record at 1980 for 55,134 feet. Wow, wow, wow. On to the next one. Here is the root beer with the two-tone Jubilee bracelet, and here's the black and gold GMT in 1982. Two-tone Jubilee bracelet, that is. Here's an ad for the Nanomi Udamara Japanese Explorer with ad for the GMT Master line. Here's a 16750 Pepsi 1982, a little improved. No holes case. And here's a version of it in Jubilee 16750. And here in 1987, we got this particular line. If anybody remembers this particular design and the look, it is a Coca-Cola version. It has also two nicknames, the Sophia Loren and the Black Lady. Now, I don't have no clue or much, but that's what it was nicknamed. The Coke bezeled Rolex, also known as the Coca-Cola bezel Rolex, or just the Rolex GMT-Master II Coke. That's it. This is reference 16710. 16710. That's what it is. And also calling it two names, so the Sophia Loren and the Fat Lady. It doesn't even look that big. Even in 1987, this didn't even look that big. I don't know why they gave it the last two dopey names. Really. Or maybe, I'm not so sure. And I'm just calling it the Coke. That's it. Don't call it the Fat Lady or the Sophia Loren. I don't know why they gave it those two nicknames. Just leave it the Coke. That's it. All right. Next up is the 16700. All blacked out, black bezel, and black dial. Very unique design, and well, look at that. It's the holes case version. You can see that there. Same, well, the Coke doesn't have a holes case. This has. Next up, in 1990, this came out. GMT Master II line. See it very carefully, everybody. And this was technically the last of the GMT Master, or was it? Might be mistaken. Maybe I should delete this. That's a holes case. Same here, holes case. This is a gold Jubilee Rolex, all gold, black dial, black bezel with gold, crown guards, and that's a holes case. Very unique piece and released in 1990. Here we have an ad from Chuck Yeager talking about his times at flight school. Again, this was 1995. And again, this is a very good piece. Pause that carefully, everyone. And here is a GMT, and here's a 1986 Concorde Captain Steve Wind for the GMT Master II. Gold, rose gold, brown gold, magnificent. And here in 2004, this is what you're going to be looking at, everybody. Say hello to the GMT Master II Pepsi 16710, 16710, that is. And this, of course, was 2004 because this is a different serial. Each batch has their own serial numbers. Let's be clear, everybody. Yep, this was definitely 2004. And then by that point, at the end of this point, by 07, it went bye-bye. So this was, and then here's the Sophia Loren, and not the Sophia Loren, just Coca-Cola design, new movement, and I can't even tell what the cereals were, really. But I could tell that by that point they changed the luminovas when they glow in the dark. Instead of tritium green, this is like a little bit of the blue or just still the tritium zone, because everything was changing, designs, everything. People, most of these are sought after. Again, this is 2006. 16710. By 2007, we got this line. So I'm just going to stop there. We're going back to 2004. All right, everybody, we're in 2004. And this be 3 years. And then last one was 06. By 2007, they went by these particular ones along with other variation colors, designs, and well, the looks of them went bye-bye. And I'll get to those in the near future. So here's what we're going to be looking at. The Pepsi. So enough with history and other things. Let's get to the watch. Like, right now. I'm serious. Let's go. Alright, with all the information out of the way, let's see what we have. And let's be clear, this isn't a box, but it's a Pollock's Jewelers, which is in Sawgrass. Open it up. Here's the case. Beautifully, like, light brownish, not brownish all the way, but it's magnificent. Beautiful crafted. Good good design of the box. Yes, there's nothing to lie about that. And with that, let's open it up. Let me take it out of this here pillow. Safe and sound. And voila, this is what you're looking at, folks. GMT-Master II. If anybody knows what a GMT means, it's Greenwich Mean Time. I thought it would be General Master Time. Oh well, I was wrong. You can see here, Swiss on the dial. I'm gonna leave you a link for what's his name, Austin Daniels. He could tell the Swiss made dials were either used serials or different serials. There's the famous Rolex logo, but in backwards. Here it is. Very, very beautiful. And hold on a second. Here it is backwards. Okay. And if you guys see a little serial right around there. Hold on. Okay, if you see that little number, pause that carefully, everybody. That's a CL9. Scratch that. It's a CL2. Yeah, CL2, everybody. This is a CL2 number. So indicating that this watch was released around the time of 03 and 04. Sorry. Okay, this is very crazy. CL2, everybody. Like, look, pointing it right there. So this is a CL2 model, indicated was 2003 to 2004. I'm gonna pick 2004. And that this is a bit like a, say, 18-year-old piece from the 2000s. I was 13 back then, and you can see the scene very, very well. I've worn this watch. I got this in 2014 for Christmas, and I can't believe this. And how you could adjust this, of course, you're going to need to use a toothpick to press the hole and make it go up. I had it here, it was a bit too tight, and I didn't even know how to do it until I saw Austin Daniels' videos. How to clean the watch and adjust it. You can use a toothpick for this, or a tool. Or you could use a toothpick for alternative purposes to move the bracelet a little up. Like I said, I'm a size 8. And the blue and red is a beautiful combo and good crown guards, menacing the 1675 series onto the 6700 series. But this is the 16710 model. And it's beautifully well thought out. Seriously, what more can you ask for? It's a good, this is a good Oyster Perpetual. Nothing to kid, nothing to lie, nothing whatever. Let's take a look at the buckle quickly. The trademark of Rolex. Beautifully, beautifully. Magnifico. So, at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you the lume shot. But again, it's the green sort of glow in the dark. Because it's tritium, because these are the early times back when, you know, Rolex GMT-Master was still kicking, still getting crazy, having fun and stuff. Until 07, these went bye-bye, and what else? That's when they started going ceramic, but these are like how you call it, aluminum cases. I could be wrong. Correct me, please. And let's be clear, this is the no holes. This is the no holes case. Too bad I could have done that myself, but oh well. And all in all, this is indeed a great timepiece from the early 2000s. But it might not come with the box and papers. If you see here, let me just zoom for you, ladies and germs of the world. If you see there, pause that, or if not, hold on. If you see there, Swiss made in white lettering. And nice markers around, and also great design, great every detail about this piece. Very, very awesome indeed. And you could tell this is for the hour. You got the minutes, and this is the seconds, and this is GMT. Like I've mentioned, this what I read so far is that this is for going through different time zones. We're in the US, obviously. So yeah, these were recommended for only pilots, Navy pilots, Air Force pilots, and pilots that fly planes, travel different continents around the world, and among other things. And all in all, it's also a America piece, or perhaps just a or Pepsi. I like Pepsi. So yeah, who isn't big on Pepsi these days? I know I am. Let's hear the crown. You hear the winding? Or this is how the crowns were back then. And I've sometimes cleaned this. I haven't worn this in years, but I cleaned it. It looked a little dirty, but it's been cleaned. But the way how Austin Daniels did with his GMT Master, wow, great job on that. I had to scrub this twice to get rid of whatever is laying in there. And all in all, I mean, there is markings here and there. I mean, I've worn this over the years, since 2014, like I said, and heck, I would not be abusing this watch. No, it's too unique. You don't come across anything like this anymore. So yeah, with all this out of the way, let's play music. Like right now, everybody, let's play music. Like right now. Let's go, everybody. And later, sorry for that, folks, but in the future video, I'm going to be doing a different video for watches and movies. If you guys heard me say it correctly, I'm going to be doing watches and movies. You know, showing you pictures, maybe scenes from certain films. Maybe you can manage to spot a different watch. And among other things, heck, I love me some watches and movies. But also, let's hear the bezel. Heck. But let's be clear, it's not going to be doing that. Mm-mm. Yeah, you hear that, folks? Yeah, no, it's just a soft spinning around. You can spin left, you can spin right, left and right, that sort of thing. It won't this won't make any other sounds. So this is how these were back then. So yeah, so you're interested in this piece, you can find it whether you have it in box or trunk, or just a box, no box and papers, or no box or papers, or just a box, no papers, whichever it is. We have to know entirely what the serial number, and it lies in the bracelet. Let me just let me just show it to you one more time before we get to the music. Right, if you're interesting or anxious to know about the serial number, it'd be right there. If you can see the light, like I showed it to you, it's a C2, and it would be right here. Let me use my pointer. As in, my fingers are too big. It'll be located right here. And let's be clear, it's a CL2, everybody. A CL2 would indicate that this was released in early 2003, or 2004 for that matter. So with that out of the way, let's play some music, and let me pick a certain music from the year of 2004. Like now. Alright, y'all. You know what time it is, everybody. Music time. And enjoy. Trick Daddy featuring Lil Jon and Twista with Let's Go. Did you enjoy the video? Like, also, if you guys want to see more timepieces of this, let me know. Let me know if you want to see something more cooler of this video, or video something like this. And also, let's give a shout out to the collectors out there, like say Austin Daniels, the Watch Guys, the Timeless Watch Channel, the Watch Enthusiast. Let's give a shout out to the rest of the watch collectors. I mean, they're pretty awesome, and you should subscribe to their channels. Maybe I'll leave you a couple links, maybe. If not, I'll just give the shout outs in another video. If you want to see more content, subscribe to the channel to be notified of all new uploads, and if anybody's interested. And anybody wants to know, if anybody wants to, like the videos, share the vids. But also, want to see something cooler, subscribe to be notified of all new uploads, and love the vids. And if you like seeing awesome timepieces, I mean, where are you going to find this? You can find it anywhere, as long as you can find it in pristine or get serviced. And this is indeed a unique piece from the 2000s. I mean, it originated in 1984. GMT-Master II was born that year. And and again, there are different variations. We had like the holes case and the no holes case. You could adjust it yourself at least. That's all you have to do. But apparently, I'm gonna have to find a way to do this. So anyway, it's a good timepiece to have in your collection, and any of you watch collectors want. So anyways, this is Sparky Marky Mark signing off. Y'all take care. God bless you. Catch you on the next vid. Take care and God bless you.